Good afternoon and welcome to All Access Hutchinson. I'm Ron Sylvester, editor of the Hutchinson News, and today our guest is Lisa Gleason, director of United Way here in Reno County, and you run the VOAD program, which helps the victims of helped our victims of the wildfire last year.
Yeah.
And you know, from what I understand, we were kind of lucky to have that because it hasn't been around that long. Could you kind of just tell us about the
Sure,
VOAD
I'd love
history?
to give you a little history. The VOAD itself came out of a need about 4 years ago. We had a flooding that happened here in Reno County in an area where there was a lot of low resources, and people just weren't able to try to recover from that flooding. So we were trying as a community to react, and we were not very coordinated in those endeavors. So United Way, along with the American Red Cross, organized what is now known as the VOAD, which is Voluntary Organizations Active in Disaster. Our goal is to pull different agencies who work on disaster recovery together and try to get a more coordinated effort to try to respond. So now we're in full-blown 4 years later, and I feel like it's really benefited our community.
Yeah, and this started with a real need in the community.
It sure did. And so organizations that stepped up that became involved with this are Salvation Army, of course Red Cross and United Way. We had multiple churches stepping up. Emergency management is part of our conversations, the health department, Mennonite Disaster Services, and Volunteer Center. So truly a lot of active organizations really trying to work hard on making this a more concerted effort. So.
And we're coming up on a year anniversary of the wildfires, and you're still helping people.
We are. So almost a year ago, we were activated. We activated the VOAD within 24 hours of the Hutch fires actually happening out in the Highlands. And, you know, we initially started working with about 42 families. We are currently down to about 12 that we're still walking alongside and trying to support.
And we wanted to remind people watching our live program that if you have any questions for Lisa, put them on the comments and we'll try to ask them in the next 15 minutes that we're doing this.
Yeah.
So are there ways, are there steps that people can take now? We did a package in Sunday's paper talking about wildfire preparation because experts say this could be an even worse year. In the last 2 years we've set records for the biggest fires in state history. So to make, you know, I mean, nobody wants to, you know, lose their home and nobody wants to have to call you, but, you know, the reality of the situation is we may need to. Are there steps that we can take now before we have to call you that might make your job a little bit easier?
Well, certainly, you know, just being aware that we could be called to evacuate our homes at any time, and just be thinking of a plan ahead of time. First of all, how to get out, just depending on what the disaster might be. And second, what is it that would be truly important for you to take? As we have worked through lots of recovery issues with the houses being completely destroyed, and there just wasn't much left. And so it breaks my heart, it broke their hearts. So thinking about what's valuable to you. What's valuable to me might be totally different than what's valuable to you. So really being prepared for that. And also keeping in mind preparation within your workplaces. You know, the VOAD not during a disaster helps people try to work on more preparation. So being prepared, knowing where you might go, knowing what your organization might need to do. Some of our really organized businesses do a great job of that, but some of the smaller entities just don't think about that as much, and it's very important. Certainly also knowing you know, where you might need to go, paying attention to social media sites that will be posting things during a disaster is really important. The VOAD has a Facebook page, also a website, and we'll be posting things on there during a disaster of where you should go if you need to make donations, where you should go if you're in need of some help. So making sure that you're aware of where those phone numbers and where those organizations are that are helping during that time.
Yeah, and of course at the Hutch News, our website, hutchnews.com, during those times we'll be bringing people news, telling people, where they can go, who they can contact, and we'll link our Facebook up with yours. And
absolutely. You guys were terrific for us when we were trying to communicate during the Hutch Fires disaster. We do several things during the disaster. We work on donation management, whether it be physical donations or financial donations. We work on physical recovery of property. So we're always needing volunteers, looking for people who are willing to help us during a disaster. Certainly, other things we work on is spiritual care, emotional care, and just really walking alongside these individuals on a case-by-case basis to really identify what they might need. So there are needs that we'll be posting throughout a disaster that might be, we just need financial donations at this point rather than clothes, because sometimes that can get a little too much. Or we might need volunteers who have a strong back, who are willing to go help us clear off burned brush or houses. And so those things will be posted, and that information will be public. And so the more we can get that information out and for people to really recognize if they want to help during a disaster, making sure they know where to go. And we appreciated you guys' support so much during the Hutch Fires. You did a great job in helping us get that word out.
Oh, well, thanks. Well, and that's what we try to do here in the community. And it's good to remind people that not only do you help the people who are in need of help, but you need help too.
Right, exactly. We certainly have our core organizations that are all active for us during that VOAD, but when a disaster happens, it all needs to grow. We have some core people who said during a disaster, call us, and by golly, we did, and they responded. But there was a big need this time, and so that need grows just depending on what the disaster is.
So, and can we talk a little bit about the United Way? I know that you had some kind of tense times in January. How's the fundraising going?
So we ended our campaign about $100,000 short, which is, of course, very disappointing and hard for me to take because we certainly are going to have to go back and make some cuts now. But I have to say, it's pretty amazing, actually, if we think about all the things that happened during this last year. We still raised about $30,000 more than last year, so we grew what we raised. Considering we lost CHS, we lost Eaton, who are amazing supporters of United Way and our work. We lost Target, so we lost some substantial partners in our work, and the fact that we still were able to raise about $30,000 more is heartening. I mean, it does my heart good. Still is that gap of about $100,000 that we're going to have to go make a cut, unless there's someone out there who just wants to write a big check.
So, what sort of things are you looking at?
As far as cuts,
yeah.
Well, we have pretty good information at our fingertips as far as what agencies are able to sustain maybe a little bit more of a cut than others, but there will be an across-the-board cut with our agencies and with United Way itself to try to get us back in line with what was raised. Do
you foresee the community, losing like major services over this?
Oh, it would break my heart if that happens. I hope that does not happen. So I think we have a community group who looks at this, and they'll be the ones to help determine and bring to our board what the recommendations will be. But I hope that we are very mindful of who could take, some hit to their budget and who might not. But there will be cuts to everybody, I'm afraid, including us.
Yeah, and as a reminder that maybe for next year's campaign,
yes,
we need to get involved earlier.
Please consider giving to United Way and helping to support these agencies. They really do rely on us. Some of these agencies were as much as 40% of their budget, and so it can be pretty substantial when we aren't able to make goal. And just keep in mind that we're doing this this is our mission. We don't charge these agencies anything because we want to do this for them so that they can concentrate more on their good work. Some of these agencies are very small, and to fundraise is just, and then still continue to do their jobs is really a hardship on them. So our goal is to fundraise for them so that they don't have to do that, and they can just concentrate on doing that great work that they do. So.
Can we end on a positive note?
Sure, absolutely.
But no, I mean, what sort of things is United Way looking forward to in the coming months?
Well, one of the things we're really excited about is we're going to do something called Over the Edge one more time this year. This will be our last time to do it, but it's a unique fundraising opportunity for us to pull some dollars into supporting United Way and the work that we're all doing by asking people to raise $1,000 and rappel over the edge of the First National Bank building. Last year it was really successful, so we were just going to do it one more year, and then that's it. So this is the last time for people to try it. If you've ever wanted to rappel and do something a little more thrilling and doing it for a good cause to give back to the community, this would be the opportunity to do that. I am afraid of heights, and I did it. And I got to tell you, it was one of the best things I ever did. The minute you get over that edge, you just look around and think, wow, what a beautiful community we have, and it's gorgeous to be able to rappel down and see that.
And when is this?
So it's June 1st and 2nd that we'll be doing it. The evening of Friday the 1st, and then all day on Saturday. So if you aren't going to go over the edge, at least support someone who's an edger and come and be a part of the fun on that day. We're going to have food trucks and some music, and we're going to be really having a good time supporting those who are trying to give back to the community through Over the Edge.
Well, and so Lisa, thanks for taking time out of your busy schedule to visit with us and to come into the 2nd Avenue studio and talk to us today.
That's great. Thanks for giving us the opportunity.